They always said I was the dependable one. Maybe that is why they believed it was acceptable to use my credit card without asking to pay for my brother's extravagant trip around Southeast Asia. When I noticed the $85,000 charge, I did not yell or panic. Instead, I froze the card immediately. What followed was far from what he expected. His dream of a beachfront escape quickly turned into an exhausting and lengthy ordeal with customs. Before I dive into this chaos, please like, subscribe, and share where you are watching from. My name is Kelly Morgan. I am 30 years old, and I work as a data analyst in Chicago, Illinois. It is a stable position that pays well, and I earned every penny through 4 years of night classes while juggling 2 part-time jobs, followed by internships that opened the door to my current career. I have always been the organizer, the problem solver, the quiet one who makes disorder disappear. Even when I felt overwhelmed, I ensured my family stayed steady. They called me reliable. It used to feel like a compliment, as if they trusted me and valued me. Yet they never asked how I was feeling or if I wanted to keep bearing all the weight. This time, I decided to let it collapse. Our family is small, just me, my younger brother Ryan, and our parents Janet and David. Ryan is 26, charismatic, and always gets what he wants. He wanted to find himself in Bali, or so I guess, and assumed I would cover the expenses. I live modestly and purchased a 2-bedroom condo last year. I saved every bonus and monitored every cost carefully. I avoid spending money I don't have, and my credit score is nearly perfect, which is something I am truly proud of. My main card has a high limit, but that does not mean it is open for misuse. Limits are handy for emergencies, but not for extravagant daydreams. I do not mind sharing, yet I strongly dislike being robbed. This time, I was not going to fix the mess. On Tuesday morning, while leisurely sipping my regular coffee and preparing for work in my apartment just outside Chicago's downtown, I opened my banking app, as I always do, to check that everything seemed in order. Most days, it looks the same. A $40 charge for a streaming service, maybe some groceries, the usual. But today was nothing like most mornings. What appeared on the screen made me jerk my hand, spilling coffee on my wrist. The amount staring back was not small or simply large. It was astonishing. An $85,000 charge on my credit card took my breath away and made my fingers go icy cold. This had to be an error, so I tapped to view the charge history. My heart pounded. It was not one single transaction, but numerous ones. Flights, 5-star hotels, Michelin star restaurants with names I had never encountered before, in places I had never visited. Bali, Singapore, Phuket, Tokyo, one after another. Scrolling through, stunned, I thought of fraud. Someone must have stolen my card. That was the only reasonable guess. But then, something gave me pause. A week-old charge from a boutique travel company in River North. I remembered Ryan mentioning it during brunch. He said they specialized in organizing life-changing getaways. My thoughts raced to Ryan, my brother, who never pays attention to budgets. I kept scrolling and found even more charges. A ticket to Bali bought 3 weeks ago. He had joked about taking some time off. Heading off to find himself in Southeast Asia, my stomach twisted with anxiety. No way had he used my card. No scam, no fraud, just family. That was the moment I realized he hadn't merely gone on vacation. He had crossed my limits too, and I was determined to reclaim them. My heart sank even further. It couldn't be true. I called my parents, and my dad David picked up. His voice was unnervingly calm, too calm. "Hey, Dad," I said, trying to keep my tone steady. "Did you use my credit card recently?" There was a pause, just a beat too long. My heart skipped a beat. "Oh, hey, Kelly," he answered, sounding as casual as ever, neither surprised nor worried. That was a bad sign. "Yeah, your mom and I booked Ryan's trip because his card limit wasn't enough," he admitted. I blinked, my mouth suddenly dry. You used my card without telling me? I asked slowly. Well, we meant to, his voice breezy as if discussing the weather. But things were hectic with all the plans, and you're always so busy, we didn't want to bother you. Bother me? They charged $85,000 to my card and didn't even think to give me a warning. Dad, that's $85,000, I said, my voice rising, sharp and tense. I know, honey, he replied, still too calm. But it's for Ryan's trip. He's dreamed of this for so long, and you're doing well, Kelly. You can handle it. I froze. You can handle it as if my income was a shared pot. Never mind my mortgage, my savings, my plans. Then Mom joined in. Sweetheart, don't be upset, Janet purred, her voice dripping with condescension. It's family. We help each other. Ryan was having the time of his life, and you would not want to spoil that, would you? My hands shook, not from caffeine, but from rage, because what they took was not just money. It was permission and respect. I was finished with letting them take anything else. If you have ever felt unappreciated by those closest to you, you are not alone. This story is far from over. Tap subscribe so you do not miss what happened next when I turned the tables and my family understood just how much I had stopped being the dependable one. I was not only furious, but also shocked. They were not sorry. Instead, they defended themselves and made excuses. She is sharing the most gorgeous pictures, my mom continued softly. She looks so joyful. That hotel in Paris near the Eiffel Tower had an incredible view. She sounded as if describing a greeting card. Her plane seat became a bed, first class, and David upgraded her at the last moment. A little surprise, she added with a quiet laugh. A little surprise paid with my money. You used my money, I said quietly, my voice steady but cold. You took $85,000 from my account without permission to send Ryan on a lavish trip, and you think that is acceptable? It is family, my dad replied, repeating the same phrase again. You have more than enough, he added. Ryan does not have your kind of savings. He earned this. You will recover. You always do. You are the responsible one, the fixer, the bank. Always. Ryan always. The golden child? But what about me? What about my hard-earned money? My dreams? My peace of mind? I ended the call. I could not bear another word. They did not act on a whim. This was deliberate. They decided to take from me because they believed I would never refuse. Then my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. Ryan had posted a photo of himself by the pool in Santorini, cocktail in hand, grinning. The caption read, "Living my best life in Santorini. Thanks, sis. Thanks, sis." He knew. He knew they used my card and openly showed it off as if I were some kind of sugar sponsor. That moment, everything shifted from anger to something deeper. It was not just betrayal, but a violation. They did not only steal my money, but also my trust, expecting me to pretend it did not matter. Ryan was their favorite client, and I was the silent victim I called my closest friend Jordan, who works in finance, smart and rational. The type who always double-checks everything. We have known each other since college, and he understands how hard I have worked to create something for myself. I said, my voice stronger now, more certain. My parents used my credit card. Without asking, they charged $85,000 for Ryan's trip. I walked him through every detail, the destinations, the upgrades, the excuses. Jordan listened without a word. When I finished, he paused and said slowly, "Kelly, that is unacceptable. That is not family. That is fraud." I whispered, "I know. They think I will just take it as I always do. Are you going to?" I pictured Ryan's smug post. "Thanks, sis," I thought. My dad kept saying I could handle it, that my boundaries were fine. I corrected him, saying they were firm and clear. "I'm not okay," Jordan responded. "What do you want to do?" "I want to stop this," I said. "I want them to actually feel this, to confront the consequences." "You can freeze the card," he suggested. "Report the charges as unauthorized. The bank will investigate. They will call you, and you just tell them the truth." In the middle of our conversation, I asked Jordan to hold on. A sudden image flashed through my mind. Ryan relaxing on a yacht, then being locked out of his hotel room, the card declined with no backup plan. It struck me as harsh and merciless. But then I thought about the $85,000 and 0 cents from my savings, my time, my pride. They took everything, assuming I'd keep silent. I didn't owe them that quiet anymore. "Do it," I said. "Let's shut it down." My voice grew calm and confident now. "Walk me through it," I asked Jordan. "Let's freeze it and report the fraud." Step by step, he helped me. We called the bank together, and I explained the situation even though it felt unreal to say it aloud. My parents had used my credit card without permission for my brother's extravagant vacation. The customer service representative actually gasped and quickly opened an investigation. Within minutes, my account was frozen. Every card attached to it was disabled. No additional charges, no withdrawals, everything stopped. The following hours were painfully silent as I kept checking my phone, knowing what would happen next. Ryan would attempt to pay for something. It would be declined. He would panic, and then he would call. Our parents always referred to me as the oldest. The call came from Ryan, a video call. He looked shaken, still wearing his plush hotel robe, his hair completely untidy, phone trembling slightly. "Kelly, what have you done?" he asked. "My card is not working," he said. I looked at the screen, feigning ignorance. "Your card?" I asked. "Yes, the one Mom and Dad gave me for this trip. It's being declined everywhere." "Oh," I replied casually. "That is strange." "Strange?" "I cannot check out of the hotel until I settle the bill. We're supposed to head to Kopai this afternoon," he said. I mentioned it might be a problem with the bank. His eyes narrowed. "Kelly, did you do something? Mom said you were upset." I did not deny it. "Upset?" he repeated. Ryan said, "They took my credit card, the one I pay off every single month without hesitation, and charged $85,000 for your holiday." I paused. "So, yes, I am more than a little upset." "Oh my God, Kelly, it is only money," Ryan said, his voice rising. "You have plenty. Do not be so dramatic." "Only money? Is that what $85,000 means to you?" "It is my money," I stated firmly. "Money I earned, money I saved. It is not yours. It is not Mom and Dad's, and you do not get to spend it without permission. But here I am, stuck in Greece. What am I supposed to do?" He snapped, panic filling his white eyes. "This," I said calmly, "is something for Mom and Dad to deal with." I ended the call. Minutes later, my phone rang again. It was my mother. Her voice was no longer sweet. It was sharp and demanding. "Kelly, what did you do? Ryan's card is not working. He's stranded." I froze. I calmly told them, "You what? How could you do this when he is in a different country?" "Yes, Mom, with $85,000 of my money that you spent." "It is family," said Kelly. "You can't behave like this. Family does not steal," I replied. "You never asked me. You did not even warn me. You just took the money." Then my dad's voice boomed through the phone. "You ungrateful brat. After everything we have done for you, you sabotaged your brother's trip." "Sabotage?" I repeated. "You stole from me." I froze my account immediately. "That is not sabotage. It is self-protection." "I have reported the fraud to the bank," I said. "They have launched an investigation. There was silence on the other end. "Investigation?" my dad finally said, his tone softer as the word hit differently. "You would not," he added, sounding less confident now. "Try me," I said firmly. "You stole my security, you broke my trust, and you treated me like an ATM. So yes, I will." They started bombarding me with threats, guilt trips, and promises things would get worse. "Go ahead," I replied. "My life has already been tough. You just made sure I stopped carrying yours because you decided my money belonged to you." I ended the call. The following days blurred into chaos, filled with calls and messages, mostly from my parents, swinging wildly between anger and emotional manipulation. Ryan called as well, sobbing and complaining that his dream trip had turned into a nightmare. Then other relatives began to contact me. My Aunt Dana called from Portland, her voice barely above a whisper, stunned. "Kelly, is it true your parents used your card for Ryan's vacation?" she asked. Yes, I told her the entire amount. I said $85,000. They never inquired about it. They assumed it was fine as long as nobody mentioned it. After a moment, Kelly said softly, "That is terrible. I am so sorry." It was the first time someone in my family truly acknowledged my feelings, recognizing that what happened was not just ordinary family issues, but was fundamentally wrong. News traveled fast, and I am sure my parents offered their version, claiming I was overreacting, being harsh and ungrateful. But when the actual sum reached people's ears, the impact was not gentle. $85,000 is not a mere disagreement. It is a breach of trust. Some relatives insisted you should have let it go because family matters more than money. Yet others saw the situation clearly. They recognized the betrayal and entitlement. Suddenly, my parents faced more than just my criticism. Questions began to arise, perhaps even from the bank. Their flawless family image started to crack, then it broke completely. Ryan's return home was far from glamorous as well. He had to navigate things on his own, maybe borrowing money from friends and struggling to find a coach seat instead of flying first class. My parents, furious over the fraud inquiry, contacted me again. My mother yelled, "You are ruining our reputation, making us look like criminals." I responded calmly, "You did that yourselves when you stole from me." "We will get a lawyer," they growled. "Go ahead," I said. "I will do the same. Let them take me to court." "For what?" I asked Jordan. "For stopping them from taking more." Jordan assisted me in finding a lawyer just to get some advice. To ensure I was not overlooking anything, the lawyer acted without hesitation, confirming that I was completely within my rights by freezing the account. This was the sensible legal decision to make. Technically, I could have filed a lawsuit to retrieve the funds, but suing your own parents is complicated and painful. So, my attention shifted to the bank's investigation. That process was clear, formal, and impartial. My report plainly stated that these charges had not been authorized. As the account holder, I had never granted permission. Every piece of evidence was thoroughly documented. Despite this, the emotional toll was heavy. I felt anger and sorrow, yet beneath those feelings, a sense of relief began to grow. It was as if the weight I had carried for years, the burden of fixing problems, maintaining stability, and being the responsible one, was starting to ease. For the first time, I understood that I did not owe them anything. No silence, no savings, no peace of mind. I ceased answering their calls and stopped responding to the endless messages. I needed space to breathe, to exist outside their pull. In the beginning, the quiet was unsettling because I was accustomed to their turmoil, their chaos, and their demands. Gradually, though, that silence turned into serenity. I turned my focus back to work and reconnected with friends. Ryan never once made me feel that I needed to earn his support. I began establishing routines that were just mine, taking care of myself instead of them. Whether I recovered the money or not, Freezing the account had stopped the losses. That act drew a boundary, and for the first time, their attempts to make me feel guilty simply failed. Their manipulative tactics no longer succeeded because I recognized them for what they truly were. They were not victims, but rather feeling entitled. They took my trust and tried to turn my dependability against me. However, I reclaimed it. My calm returned the moment I stopped letting them in. I found my voice and took back control of my future. I realized that being responsible does not mean bearing the burden of others' poor choices. Instead, it means safeguarding yourself. If you have ever been undervalued by those who promise to support you, you are not alone. You have the right to say no, and you have the right to protect your peace. If someone has ever told you to simply overlook things while they exploited your quietness, I understand your struggle. I did not want to be the disruptor. I wanted to hold everything together. Yet, I came to see that I was hurting just to keep others comfortable. If you feel connected to this, share your story below and tell me what moment made you decide to stand firm. And if you are still fighting to find your voice, remember that it is not selfish to defend your peace. Click subscribe if you agree that setting limits is not betrayal but a form of survival. We deserve to be treated with greater respect,